Whoa. It's the Yewllusion. The night of the blood wolf moon. Woo! Pretty impressive. I don't really get too crazy about these eclipse types events, but I have to admit that the blood wolf moon was pretty cool. We had a nice clear night. Owl and I went out onto the deck and like sat under it and like looked at it for a while. I mean, it was just sitting there for like an hour or something. It's pretty cool, man. Glad I watched it with my own two eyes. So yeah, man, we're hanging out. I'm hanging out here, believing in myself. Believing in myself. Today was a little off. I think I had a waffle hangover this morning. I think I ate too much waffle last night. Kind of jammed me up. I just kind of did nothing today. I talked to my spiritual advisor for a while. Got centered. I just kind of existed in the space I was occupying today. I think I was a little morose, a little overwhelmed, a little not sure about how anything's gonna, man, believing in yourself is a full-time job. I'm sitting here, so I got up and I started a new piece of art today. I'm like, got some sort of bubble flame thing going on, man. Actually, I'm kind of digging this piece. I think it's gonna come out sort of bitching. But, believing in my art, right? And then I was like, geez, I haven't sold any art yet, man. I get kind of nervous here. And then I looked at when I made my first piece since the fire, and it's only been a month. So I'm plugging along away at the thing, man. Like, it'll all work out how it's supposed to. But it definitely attacked me today for a while. And then, I picked up Owl at 5. And then he goes through his weird, it's like this weird transition I'm starting to get like used to. Because we've only been doing this for like a month. You know what I mean? Like the first 6 weeks after the fire, it was just Owl and I like surviving. And, now we're all settled in. It's kind of incorporating Mom on the weekends. And, he comes back. He's not stoked on the situation at all. I mean, he's fully fired up to come home and like we hang out and we fully play and the whole thing. But he has this like weird window where he gets super frustrated. And Fortunately, I'm doing all this work with my spiritual advisor, right? Because it's all about being the observer, right? And trying to observe things more and see what's really going on. And so Owl's getting super frustrated about this car he brought back from his mom's house with these batteries. I don't know, he just got, and it was a bit much, man. Like, it was super, like, hectic. So I went and I sat in the bedroom for a bit. I just was like, I regrouped, man. And he was out here and he got, like, super upset about it. And I came out and I was like, I just intuitively knew what was going on. I can't tell you where the information came from. Like, I sat down on the floor with them, man. And I was like, let me have the car. And I put it away and I was like, come here, man. And I just like hugged him and he just cried for like a bit. You know what I mean? He just like hugged and I was like, this little feller's, dude. Like, so I've been realizing there's like this, cause after we like hugged and regrouped and like, I went and sat with him on the couch for like 20 minutes. He just like sat in my arms and just like held on and just kind of like sat there. And then Then he was fine, went about his business. Just, we were playing, he was running around, and like his whole demeanor changed. And I like realized like I had to absorb like his like energy, his like dark, the dark energy, right? Because, you know, I don't really think there's a real positive. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything negative. I just don't think the energy coming from the other side is like a real, like, there's a darkness to it, dude, right? Like, that's how the situations ended up like this. Is it wasn't because of like some light growth. It was like a dark energy, and bad things happen. So, you know. So anyway, so I had to like absorb, I realized that like I had to intuitively absorb like Owl's dark energy and to make myself like super emotionally available to him, and then like absorb it, and then like, I don't know, take it off him, dude. It was pretty trippy, man. I don't know how I even intuitively knew what to do, what I did, but like, you know, he's my boy, so like we're hardwired, but still, like, you know, not a lot of dudes I think are getting like on that level, like, you know, like being emotionally available. Anyway, so then we went and watched it. We sat out on the deck later and watched the eclipse. And, you know, I don't know if you ever listen to Joseph Farrell. Joseph Farrell, he does all the stuff about the Giza pyramid. He's got some pretty interesting stuff. The Nazi bell and the Giza pyramid as a weapon. So he has, I get all into Michael Tessarian and all these dudes who talk about like Tiamat, like Tiamat's the exploded planet that makes up the asteroid belt, and supposedly like tens and thousands of years ago, maybe a million years ago or something, like there was some galactic like civil war in our solar system, and that like the moons and the stuff are like these artificial like things, and all the pyramids and stone structures are these crazy like energy machines and weapons. And you know, because there's kind of like some interesting stuff about like, if you like, especially if you get into like, you know, a lot of the old writings about stuff, you know, there was some sort of space war in our solar system. I can go down into that bunny hole. I'm fascinated about that, because there's a certain part of it that doesn't seem that crazy to me. Like, you know, I just look at how like people go like, I'll be all like, that's crazy. But then you just look at the madness going on our own planet, right? Like, look at the ridiculous stuff going on our own planet, right? And we're just monkeys with iPhones. Imagine what like really advanced monkeys with iPhones did. You know, someone put all these stone structures around the planet. I'll always come back to like, what's up with the stone structures on the planet, man? Like, nobody's got any answers about that stuff, and they're all interconnected, man. You know, and then you can get all on the stuff with Mars and the moon, and apparently this Joseph Farrell was talking about how like there's this like one of the planets on the one of the moons at around Saturn, they think is artificial, because Saturn used to be like super. You got to go check it out for yourself. I'm not doing it justice, but man, if you like some really far out stuff to listen to while you do your art, man, Joseph Farrell is pretty good, man. He gets into the whole Giza pyramid thing. With the Giza pyramid was a giant weapon, and that this planet Tiamat is the asteroid belt. But what's even trippier is they think that like the part of the whole theory is like the rings around Saturn are like blown up space stations, and that it's all just debris orbiting Saturn from like a blown up like Death Star. realistically, that Star Wars is just like a full, like, true story? You like that? Star Wars is a true story? The first three ones. I don't know about any of the other Star Wars. But I don't know, man. I can get all into the far out. Like, I like to go down, like, the far out potentials of, like, what reality could be. Because none of us know what's going on here, man. Nobody, dude. Nobody's got a clue what's going on down here, what's going on. No one's got a clue what happened 100,000 years ago. And dude, even the gnarly, like, look, man, now you get the, I don't want to get the hardcore Christians all uptight about that stuff, but you know, some pretty interesting stuff in the beginning of the Bible, dude. I don't know, man. Just some food for thought. I don't know. I can entertain these far out things. I'm curious. I want to know what the stone structures around the planet are all about. That's the head scratcher, dude. What are the stone structures around the planet all about? And I've seen a lot of interesting stuff about where they're all placed and the alignments, and that they all 10,000 years ago pointed to the Pleiades, and it's pretty interesting, man. I've been getting back there. You know, it was funny. Like, right before it all fell apart, man, I remember making that live broadcast where, like, some stuff was really starting to solidify. I was getting a lot of data, man, back in May. In April and May, man, I was getting a whole bunch of data downloaded into my head, man. And then it all went sideways. And I've been just struggling to keep my head above water the whole time, right? And, you know, the water's starting to calm. I'm starting to get out of the old story, move into the new story, but I have the ultimate little cope. My little guy, dude, is like I used to joke about in the old some of the early videos with Al, is like, one day he's going to tell me what the stone structures are all about. And I'm sort of convinced on a sort of weird way that, like, now I'm getting far out, that what's going on with the hologram is she got taken over by the dark entity, man, whatever you want to call it, all of it to ultimately get to Owl, to, like, sabotage he's dialed in, dude. I've known since conception, like, he was fully from the galactic knowledge, man. Like, that dude comes straight from God with data. And so I'm, like, on everything it's like a race to, like, keep him dialed in, dude. It's tricky, dude. It's tricky because, like, now there's, like, 2 days a week when he's out of my jurisdiction, which I don't like one bit because I have a totally different, obviously a different perception about reality than his mom, so I'm a big picture kind of guy. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. The moon was gnarly. So yeah, back to the big full moon, man. Like, maybe it's like the end of a cycle. Just like that crazy mountain lion that crossed my path was the beginning of a news cycle. Maybe this is like the ebbing of a new. Energetically, it was a pretty heavy day. I was just like, I didn't do much. I just sort of but then around 2, I talked to my spiritual advisor, man, and I got super motivated, and I started this piece of art. This is what I've been doing all day, dude. Circles with flames inside of them. This one's gonna be rad, dude. I'm fired up on that. It starts to hurt my shoulders, though. Anyway, this is the Yewllusion, the night of the blood wolf moon. Ooh, signing off.